What a strange few weeks it has been in the AFL media. Controversy not only has been on field with the final series, but off it with some well-known personalities. A recent charity football game ended with someone in hospital with very serious injuries, and not in a funny way, while the grand final entertainment is still being questioned alongside the AFL, who have been called out for hypocrisy, and once again, Tom Morris was involved in a mini battle with one of the AFL's biggest callers over his reporting of a story about a superstar in the game. But let's focus on the most recent edition of the EJ Whitten Legends game. Before we get to the details of the match, it was overall a massive success. A crowd of over 31,000 flocked to Marvel Stadium on a Thursday night, and it was the first edition of the game since 2019. Over 2.3 million Australians tuned into 7, and the average audience was 879,000, which was a fantastic result. The game raised awareness for prostate cancer and ended up raising over $1 million and providing plenty of entertainment on the night. The All-Stars ended up winning the game right at the final siren, but it was what happened afterwards that was in the headlines. Now, during the game, comedian Dave Hughes was a target of a couple of bumps. The first was by former West Coast player Andrew Embley, and was followed by a ruck collision with Daniel Gorringe and another bump by Mitch Robinson. Now, Hughes wasn't totally innocent himself and got Robinson with a bump of his own, but the damage to his own body had already been done. Despite playing out the game, kicking a goal, and joining in during the after party, his condition worsened and he ended up having to go to hospital. It was discovered he had 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung. On radio next morning he said, "The Andrew Embley incident. Hodgie kicked it to me, I dropped the chest mark, and Embley came in from the side, and that was the first collision that I believe was the ribs," Hughes told 92.9 Triple M. Now, Embley did apologise soon after, although did have a little go at Hughesy, who might need to give up the vegetarian diet for a while. "I just want to say that I am so sorry for my little thump on you last night that has obviously caused so much damage. You look so sore right now. How brave were you, big fella, to continue with the game. Take care, and I'll send some flowers your way shortly." But the AFL still can't escape from its choice of grand final entertainment. Isaac Rankin didn't help with his own actions, using a homophobic slur at a Collingwood opponent, which landed him a 4-game ban. Soon after this, clips were taken from the It's Giving podcast, where Snoop Dogg went on a rant about same-sex couples featuring in kids' movies. He said on the It's Giving podcast, "The kids are like, she had a baby with another woman, when my grandson in the middle of the movie is like, Papa Snoop, how does she have a baby with a woman? She's a woman." Snoop added, "Oh, I didn't come in for this. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. They just said she and she had a baby. They're both women. How does she have a baby?" It expletive me up. I'm like, scared to go to the movies. With Snoop's comments literally aired right after the Rankin situation, it was almost a worst case scenario for the AFL to deal with. People already questioned them over Snoop Dogg and his past, and this only created more articles, opinions, and even rumours surrounding the US rapper. But the AFL was stuck by him the entire time, despite the clear hypocrisy compared to how they dealt with Rankin, and the recent amount of suspensions due to homophobic language. CEO Andrew Dillon recently said, "What I'm looking forward to over the next 4 weeks is the most important games of the year. Then we'll get to the last Saturday in September and we'll have the 2 best teams there. The grand final entertainment will add to what will be an amazing spectacle. It will be at the level that we haven't seen for a long time. He'll do a great job." This was always going to happen when the AFL announced Snoop Dogg, but the AFL are still backing themselves in on this decision. In late 2022, you may have read a story about 4 men getting arrested in relation to suspicious activity bidding on the 2021 and 2022 Brownlow medals. Well, in late August this year, 4 men were finally charged by police. In total, 102 combined charges were laid against them, spanning incidents from the 2021 and 2022 Brownlow medals. At the time of the arrests, police alleged the person with knowledge of the voting tally of certain AFL matches distributed the information to a group of people, In the case of the Reservoir Man, police allege he used corrupt conduct information for betting purposes on 34 occasions and faces 53 separate charges connecting to wagering on the 2021 and 2022 Brownlow Medal Awards. The maximum penalty for the offences is 10 years in jail. It's serious stuff, but according to the AFL, fans don't have to worry about the outcomes of those Brownlow medals. AFL Chief Executive Andrew Dillon, then General Manager of Football Operations, said at the time of the 2022 arrests that there was no information to suggest that the outcome of the Brownlow medal was impacted, as the allegations related to the leaking of results after matches. The four men are scheduled to attend the Melbourne Magistrate Court on September 11th, so we will find out more then. Now, the news surrounding Charlie Curnow has been a big part of the football talk the past couple weeks. It has been confirmed by the Blues themselves. Their marquee spearhead is open to a move away from the club, but he is contracted, and any deal would have to be significant for Carlton to move off the two-time Coleman medalist. Tom Morris was one of the first reporters to reveal Curnow's wish for a move, but it was shut down at the time by Brian Taylor on Channel 7. Tom Morris has hit out at commentator Brian Taylor for suggesting the story that Charlie Curnow wants out of Carlton was made up. Morris played a clip of Taylor responding to a report from Boundary reporter Mitch Cleary saying, "That's come from nowhere as far as I'm concerned. It's been made up." Morris really was not happy at BT dismissing his report on live television. On Channel 9's Footy Furnace, Morris responded, "I really like Brian Taylor, but I'm fanning the flames against him. Brian Taylor knows I would hope that journalists don't just make up stories. I've kept that as a receipt for the last 6 weeks, and I take it in jest. I smile at it, but clearly we now know it wasn't a fib or a made up story, and I would hope that in future BT would speak to his Boundary reporter down there, Mitch Cleary, and get a handle on what the truth is before he said that." The little comment made by Taylor really did hit a nerve with Morris, so much so he had to go on air and fire back at Channel 7's main man. And the final bit of important news is to do with the grand final presenters. Two-time Norm Smith medalist Luke Hodge will present the 2025 Norm Smith medal to this year's winner, while West Coast Premiership coach Adam Simpson will present the Jock McHale medal to the winning coach. The second edition of the Ron Barassi medal, given to the winning captain, will also be presented by Ken Fraser. Now, we will have to wait until grand final week to learn who will present the cup on stage to the winning team.